Why are marketing and sales so goddamn icky for business owners with ADHD or ADHD brains? What is it about putting yourself out there that can make it feel so challenging? And how do you actually find clients and get them to pay you money in a way that feels good for you and that doesn't feel like wearing someone else's clothes? That is the question we are tackling together today. And welcome back, by the way, to the Unconventional Business Podcast. This is your place for real stories of real people growing their businesses in the real world. No 6 steps to 6 figures here, no hustle bro nonsense. Welcome to the 5-figure club. So let's get into it. I have been in marketing for nearly 25 years. I don't want to count, that's scary. A bloody long time, put it that way. And I've been a business owner for nearly 7. And I have spent the majority, obviously, of that 2.5 decades inside the Corporate Borg. I've also worked for marketing agencies and smaller businesses, but yeah, essentially inside someone else's machine. And I've done it all. I've done massive out-of-home and TV ads. I've done really nerdy, techie, data-driven email marketing and digital advertising campaigns. I've been the brand owner for a business and been a graphic designer and been like really good at Photoshop and Illustrator. Don't know where those skills went. I've stuffed envelopes and created packs and gone to events, done long days running events. I've done all the dog's body work. I have made people tea. I have been to meetings with all of the big wigs and, kept quiet like a good little girl. And then as I got older, just jump in and go, no, I think you're all wrong. But even with all this experience, right, even coming into starting a business and going, do you know what, like I know about marketing, I'll be all right. I was not all right. The ick still found me. Because what I discovered as I downloaded all the freebies when I started out and went to all the masterclasses and stood up all of people's free content, it took me a little while to clock on to the fact that it was coming from, hustle bros with a lot of time freedom and not for a neurodivergent human who needed to pick their kid up from nursery. Not that I knew I was neurodivergent then. And I think what I couldn't connect with then were my strengths, because the whole way through my marketing career, I had fought the industry narrative to specialise. Like when you're in marketing, you're really pushed towards becoming an SEO specialist or a digital specialist or a this or a that. And I was always in these roles where I was kind of a bit of everything. I mean, so obvious that there was some ADHD there, jack of all trades. And I wanted to collect all the bits of marketing like Pokemon cards. How very autistic of me. So yeah, I really fought that narrative and I collected all the skills. I set up a video production team from nothing at one point and was writing scripts, and I was in the videos, and I was very broadly a creative producer, but I was buying props and I was there at the edit, choosing the music and the sound effects. I just wanted to know everything there was to know about marketing. And the feedback that I got so often in my career was, you're not strategic enough, because people saw that I was really good at the doing. And I was really good at organising stuff, because obviously there were all the conditions for that to be true. Accountability, novelty, there was a challenge, there were deadlines, all the things that ADHD brains need to thrive, right? Obviously behind the scenes I was paying the price with migraines and IBS and getting sick. Like someone on another floor, if they had a cold, I would get it straight away. And depression and anxiety, like this was not a walk in the park. But that feedback haunted me, not strategic enough, right? And then when I started my business, very early on, I realised that the opposite was true. And my superpower, my special skill, the thing that people wanted from me more than anything else, was my ability to be strategic. Because I had done all of these different things in all of these different areas. I had seen the how the marketing machine fits together from the inside out. And obviously, because I was also really good at getting things done, people only viewed me as a doer, and they didn't realize I could do small detail and big picture together, because that's how my brain works. And then when I stepped out of that, people were like, oh, I want someone that can see the big picture and then go off and do parts of it. And suddenly the thing that was my negative feedback the whole way through my career suddenly became the thing that people wanted to buy from me. And I realized that was my strength. I can see it all laid out in my head. And so if you're able to take that big picture view, that's what people who don't understand marketing want to buy from you. And it came as a real surprise to me that a lot of the business owners I spoke to were just so clueless about marketing. No judgment, right? They started a business because they wanted to give people financial advice, or they wanted to rebrand people and help them with their logos and visual identity, or they were a photographer. They didn't sign up to be a marketer, a salesperson, never mind a finance person and all the other things that you have to be as a business owner. And so, yeah, very quickly I realised, oh, I have something here that I'm really good at that people might want to buy from me, which was as surprising as it was exciting. And then the real shock realisation came from doing my own marketing, which I'll talk about in a bit. I want to talk about the ick now. This is my sort of umbrella term for just all the reasons that business owners find marketing difficult. Like, why does it feel like scooping your eyeballs out with spoons? Why can it feel so gross? Why can it feel so challenging? What is it about it? Certainly in my experience, before I figured this out, I just felt like a big giant failure. I just felt like this is something other people can do, and they all have these secret answers that I don't have. What's wrong with me? And of course, once I started to figure out about my brain working differently, and I landed on this word unconventional, which kind of described me and my audience members, which is obviously the precursor to all those people ended up being neurodivergent. Haha. What was it about me where I just couldn't follow these 6-step formulas, or I couldn't, just send a spicy follow-up to someone about a proposal to try and get them over the line? Like, why couldn't I do things that didn't feel authentic? And I think there's two things here. And one is the kind of the guru culture, this way that we've kind of idolized people in the small business industry that I don't really agree with. And the second is how some of these tactics and some of these narratives and the things we're taught affect our nervous system as people with more sensitive nervous systems. As I said earlier, I went to all the webinars and I downloaded all the freebies, and so many of them early in my business journey, just trying to hoover up, like, okay, I thought I knew about marketing, but actually when you bring it into a small business world, it's different. And I'm starting to get all these targeted ads with all these people going, oh, clients on repeat, just do this one thing. And the amount of times my cursor hovered over the buy button and I thought, could this be the person? Could this be the magic thing? Is this maybe the thing I'm missing? And obviously the messaging, they're so good at making you feel like they are this thing that is going to answer your problem finally. And they press on the pain points. Not just the pain points, but some of them even press on the shame points. Like, if you're not doing this, you're not a proper business owner. If you don't have this thing in place, your whole business is going to fail, all that shit. And for me, that's really about something quite sinister, where we're sort of hope marketing people, and we're not offering them something aspirational and inspirational. We're scaring them into buying things. And it took me a while, and then I started to clock on to the fact that, like, I don't like that way of doing things. It doesn't feel good. In fact, I once used one of those tactics that I'd picked up in a webinar. Something about sort of limited spaces, like a time limited offer. And I sent it out to my email list, and then I was like, yuck, I feel gross. That does not feel like me at all. And I sent another email back out to my email list, and I apologised. And I was like, dudes, I'm so sorry. That's not me. there isn't a time limit. You take up this offer whenever you want, but I'm really sorry. That felt wrong. And I got a few replies to it, and I think it really resonated with people because people were like, actually, yeah, I don't like doing that stuff either. So honestly, I think if a business coach or a marketing guru or some content expert tells you there is only this one way to get clients, they know the best way, then they aren't a strategist like me. They are a specialist, and they're probably someone that got lucky once, and they're now selling you this X marks the spot map to a treasure chest that's already empty. Because really, they just want to sell you their course. They don't want you to walk away knowing how to do that thing and to never come back. A lot of them are creating this dependency on them, which, yeah, just makes me feel like I want to go have a shower. Anyway, let's talk about your nervous system. So a lot of these tactics that these gurus and hustle bros are espousing tend to be in this sort of direct conflict with those of us for whom authenticity is everything. Especially if you are on your unmasking journey, you can't unsee it. As soon as you've unmasked something, or you've uncovered an unhealthy coping strategy, or you've realized that you're a people pleaser and you start undoing it, like you can't go back. You can only go forward. And a lot of these tactics, what are they if not just another set of neurotypical expectations that we don't want and that we can't align ourselves to? And so I think something really magical happens when you unmask your marketing. I landed on this phrase as part of an epiphany last week where I was like, that's what it's about. That's what I want people to do, is unmask their marketing. Be your weird, wacky, authentic self. Lean into your crazy sense of humour. Lean into your sarcasm or your puns or your toilet humour. Like, you will attract your people the more you are yourself. I have always said, actually, which was quite wise of me, your best marketing strategy of all, the absolute winner, is just to be yourself. And I'm really realising now that I'm uncovering all this stuff, just how true that is. Be yourself and you will find your people. But if you are pretending to be someone else with limited slots, even though they aren't limited and you know you're lying, or a value stacked offer where you're like, and it includes this, which is worth this much, and it includes that, which is worth this much, even though you know you're making it all up. At the end of the day, it doesn't feel like you, does it? It doesn't sit well with you. And it becomes harder and harder to do the more you unmask, because you know you're pretending. And guess what? Neurodivergent people, we're so sick of pretending. We're done. We just want to be ourselves. So if you like to info dump, find a way to include that in your marketing. Like for me, it's about writing a really long, rambly Substack essay. And then what I do is use that to inform a podcast episode, because another thing that I love to do is verbally process. And then I chop it up into bits and pieces and use it in other places, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. I'm making it serve me, right? And this is the thing, is if your marketing strategy is not working for you because it feels like wearing someone else's clothes, it's not serving you. And the point of it is it should serve you. Okay, so now we've set the scene. You know me, I always like to acknowledge why things exist and explore them a little, but I also like to talk about what the fuck you actually do about it. I never want to leave people hanging with like, yes, I do feel like that, but what now? So we're going to talk about the 3 big fucks: who, what, and how. So these are really the only things that matter, right? Where you decide to take these is up to you. Please don't listen to anyone that says their type of marketing is a silver bullet, because it's not. You just need the right message and you need to be clear on these things. So let's talk about the first one. Who the fuck are you for? And the reason I have asked this question in such a direct manner is I want to get to the honesty of it. I want to get to the real core of who the fuck are you for? Who do you absolutely love connecting with and working with? Who lights you up? What is it about them? How do you connect? What is that little moment in time where they're like, oh my God, I need you? I know there's this big narrative about niching down. So often people are explaining it wrong, or we're reading it wrong. When we say niche down, we're talking about niching down your message, not necessarily your audience. So a little exercise that I like to offer is just imagine all your favourite types of people and your favourite clients in a room, what is it they all have in common? If you left them alone, what would they start talking about? What is that one problem they've all got that is your favourite problem to help them solve? Is it a moment in time? Is it a vibe? Is it a set of characteristics? Forget industry, forget demographics, inside leg measurement, right? It's not about what they look like. It's about how they feel and how they want to feel. That is your niche. Let's use me as an example. If I was taking the standard advice, I would say ADHD business owners is my niche. It's not. It's just a filter. My actual niche is ADHD business owners who want to build a business that they love around the life they want. So they want a life-first business. They want to shape their business around themselves and their lives and their needs and their caring responsibilities and all the other things. It's not about work-life balance. It's about work-life flow. It's about how all these things coexist together. Those are my niche. Not all ADHD business owners feel like that. So within that, as a subset of people, my niche is very specific. And the really key thing about knowing who the fuck you're for is about connecting with them, right? And it's about listening to them. Take it from someone who built an online course during lockdown. Oh my God, so many hours of work, so many heavily edited videos. Had 2 camera angles and everything. And no one bought it. No one bought it because I did not build it with my audience. I wasn't clear on who it was for. It was just like my marketing manifesto. I'm not saying it wasn't a valuable product, but I had not connected with anyone on it. And I think the whole build it and they will come that we hear out there is just a fast track to disappointment and failure and burnout. Getting really clear on who the fuck you're for and spending time talking and listening to them is probably one of the most valuable things you can spend your time doing, because it will ensure that you stay afloat and you keep operating and you keep making money and you keep doing what you love. So let's talk next about what the fuck you offer. So as I said, talking to your market, there is literally nothing more important than that for figuring out what your products and or services should be. It's something I learned actually in big business, and it is one of the things I took with me because it saves so much time and heartache. Understanding the problems that your market are having and aligning your services to them is literally how you stay alive in business. You know, the businesses that failed during lockdown, I mean, most of them were ones that already had holes, but the main thing they weren't doing was listening to their market. They were just continuing to do what they have always done. And they didn't have that sort of mindset to adapt or pivot quickly in lockdown, and they died as a result. One thing I always say about business is you don't build a thing, you don't build a tangible thing when you build a business, you build a process. It is a constant iterative process. Whatever product or service your clients need now that you can give them, it needs to evolve. It needs to be constantly at the mercy of your client's feedback, and you need to be wrapping that in. That's how you stay relevant. That's how you stay afloat. Keep listening to your market. And if you're not quite sure what people are struggling with, and if desk research isn't cutting it, or a little chat with AI, reach out to people and talk to them. People are so willing to talk about themselves and their problems. Ask them what they're struggling with. Design a little interview. Do some market research calls. Listen out for those golden nuggets and then wrap them into your services and your marketing. It's never been more important to stay relevant, but I don't think anyone talks about how you do that. So that is how you do that. And the final big fuck is, how the fuck will you convert people? How the fuck will you get people, if you've done that job of going out there, being clear about who it is you're talking to, sharing content that resonates with them, aligning your services to what you think they want, how the fuck will you get them to pay you money for those services? The most important thing there, as I referenced earlier, is to really lean into your strengths. Lean into what is weird and wacky about you. Lean into your sense of humour, your special interests. People will connect with you when you are most yourself, and find places and spaces where it feels good to do that. You know, everyone will tell you need a podcast, you need to show up on video, you need to be more consistent, you need to be all over social media. I'm a rare breed marketer. Like I said, I'm a strategist, not a specialist. So I will always ask you, where do you feel you show up best? Are you a verbal processor? Maybe a podcast would be good for you. If you don't want to be on video, don't. Just do an audio podcast. Do you like to dive deep and do big bits of research before you start anything? Do that and then use AI to help you chop that up into content. Lean into what makes you you, and there will be a way to use that in your marketing, and that is how you make your marketing and sales strategy serve you first, which is the most important thing, because that's the only way you'll get it done. And a little tip here, so often I hear this narrative that selling to your friends first doesn't count. And I just want to call BS on that, because why wouldn't you go to the people that know and love you best and are most likely to give you honest feedback? Why wouldn't you go to people that you know? Another thing is skill swapping, right? When you're starting out, if you're a website developer and you meet a photographer and you need brand photos, you build their website and they do your photos. It's one of the best ways to get started, but nobody talks about it, and there seems to be some shame around it. I mean, I still skill swap with people. It's such a great way to get things done, and then you get to experience how someone else works, and you can refer each other, and you can write each other a glowing testimonial. Why wouldn't you do that? If you want to stay connected to your audience, just speak to one human a day. They could be in the coffee shop, at school gates, at a networking event, online, in the LinkedIn DMs, anywhere. Just talk to one person a day about what you do. You do not need 100,000 followers and a giant automated marketing funnel to have a full diary of clients. So let's talk about how your marketing and sales are your kind of well-oiled business machine, right? So you see the stuff out there, like I said, that you need to have this fully automated funnel with all these bells and whistles and freebies and email sequences. You don't. Your marketing is not a performance, and it shouldn't feel like one, but it is an engine, and the point of it is to help you meet your enough number. And I talked about this in a previous podcast. However many hours you want to work, you cannot sell them all. So you will need to take time off for marketing, sales, admin, finance, navel gazing, time off sick, all the other things that you need. And what I see so often is people in kind of two polar opposite places here. Either the business owner who is selling all their hours and there's just literally no hours for marketing or sales or business development or content creation or any of that, and they only ever make time for that when they run out of clients. Or conversely, the people at the other end who are spending 40 hours a week creating content and posting on social media and writing blogs, but not seeing any success from that. So if you're at either end of that scale, obviously what we want to do is help you balance yourself somewhere in the middle so that you're spending a sensible amount of time on marketing, but not all your time. And you are continually marketing no matter how busy you are, because you need to keep feeding that machine. Okay, so if you are ready to bin the shoulds, unlearn some of these icky, unhelpful, gross narratives that feel like wearing someone else's clothes, and find your own version of Ick-Free marketing, I have 2 ways I can help you. Well, 3. Hopefully, the prompts in this podcast have been helpful to get you thinking. But I also have a super fun marketing personality quiz to help you figure out what your neurodivergent marketing personality is, and to get you thinking about how your strategy could serve you and where and how you can show up best and it can feel more natural and organic. I'll drop the link in the show notes. And if you would like to figure out where that sort of balancing point is between too little marketing, too much work, or too much marketing, too little work, in real terms, I'll drop the link in the show notes for my real hourly rate calculator, and that is how to figure out what that enough number is for your business, and to help you understand how to create a pricing structure that actually gives you what you need. And the point of all of this, as always, is to help you understand how to make your business serve you, not the other way around. I also run a course called Ick-Free Marketing and Sales for ADHDers. I'll pop the link in the show notes for that as well, so you can go see what that's about. It runs a few times a year, so go check that out to see when the next one is, and you can join the wait list if there isn't one coming up soon. And my final offer, you've got a real smorgasbord here, depending on your level of curiosity and commitment, is my Ick-Free Marketing and Sales for ADHDers masterclass, which for just £15 is your opportunity to go deeper on some of these prompts and begin to build out that strategy and bin off some of these shoulds and some of this grossness and really lean into your weird, wacky, authentic self. And you may not believe me, but ultimately be able to enjoy your marketing and sales activities. Shock, horror, no. But yes, I promise it is possible. And as always, thanks for being here. If this has resonated with you, please do drop me a message, because I absolutely love to hear what you take away from these episodes. And if you can think of another business owner with ADHD who you think, oh, they really hate marketing and sales, please share this episode with them, because I really want to reach the people that need to hear this message. And until next time, let's do business differently.